Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to take a break from talking about managers and who could be the next Celtic manager and Ange leaving the club. Today, instead, we're going to talk about players who could be leaving the club. What a cheery time to be a Celtic fan. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. It would be much appreciated. The support that you've given me over the last week has been insane. The numbers as this turbulent week goes on. It's been a really weird time to be a Celtic fan. Off the back of winning a world record-breaking treble, to then losing our manager and looking for a new one also quickly. It's been a real whirlwind, to say the least, but you guys have been on here every single day giving me support. I really appreciate that. Keep pressing the like button, and every bit of news there is to update you on to do with this whole situation, I'll always be here for you. Today, we are not really any further forward with the managerial search. There hasn't been any breaking news, there hasn't been any strong leads to signal that we are any closer to appointing a manager. I didn't think that we'd have one in place by now anyway, but it's been a bit of a quiet day. The mainstream media are still plucking every name out. It seems like if you've got a degree, or a coaching badge I should say, a degree. If you've got a coaching badge, then you're in for the job. You know, that's how the records seem to be working. Every name under the sun has been linked with it. So there's no point in talking about all these nonsense names that are probably going to be nowhere near Celtic. I decided today we'll take a wee break from it. We'll come back to it when we seem a little further forward. And for now, we should probably talk about the players at Celtic and the situation that could be quietly bubbling away to do with them. It's been a weird few days, of course, because the headlines have been dominated by the manager situation. Ange leaving the club, who's coming in next. But underneath all of that, there has been kind of rumours, small talking, and little bits here and there talking about players who could be leaving the club this summer. So I've decided today to jump into that a little bit more. But alongside that, I just want to talk about the situation in general in regards to players and Celtic. Who might leave, and should we expect to see players leave? Because I don't think it's as black and white as what some people are making out. So let's start off with just a bit of general conversation here. This window could be quite turbulent for Celtic. Will the departure of Ange trigger a thought in some players' minds that maybe this is the time to move on? Perhaps. Maybe there is a couple of players who have maybe thought to themselves, I've done all I can here, it's time to look for that bigger move. But do I think that's necessarily going to happen because Ange Postecoglou has left? No. I think that the club are in the right place right now, in a really good position to go out there and attract another big name manager, an elite level manager, which could make players who are currently at the club just as happy as they were with Ange Postecoglou as manager. I think that just because he's gone, I've seen a few people jumping in straight away, two-footed, going, oh, well, that's going to be Jota and Cameron Carter-Vickers and Kyogo and Hatai, and all these players already out the door because Ange is away. I don't think it's as black and white as that. Look, these guys signed up for a career in football, not to be coached by one man. These are professional football players who go under managerial changes all the time. It's perfectly natural, it's perfectly normal, and yeah, some of them might have a think to themselves, maybe I'm ready to take a next step, but that's not going to be triggered by Ange leaving, and that's not going to be the story. And I think a lot of people have jumped in straight away and thinking it's as simple as that. It's not. Look, there's going to be a lot of the same team here next year. If anything, I think we'll retain the majority of our players. Obviously, a couple will leave here and there, but the vast majority of that squad that won the treble last season are going to still be here next season. Will Ange Postecoglou raid us? Is he going to take everybody to Tottenham Hotspur? That's another one that I think is just very, very quick to jump into, far too black and white, and for a lot of the MSM, very lazy journalism. Of course players are going to be linked with Ange Postecoglou and Spurs. That's just the natural way of things. A big job for Ange, a big move, and maybe a big move for some players if he chooses to take them with him. We're going to talk about a couple of players who have already been linked with Ange and Tottenham Hotspur after this, but don't believe everything you see. Just because Ange is away, the first question, it doesn't have to come to your mind this straight away, who is he taking? Honestly, deep down, I don't want to jinx anything, and we'll deal with it if it does happen, right? I don't think Ange is going to take anybody. He's moving to a club now, right? He's moving to Tottenham Hotspur, who are going to be going through major renovations this summer. They've already taken a massive gamble on Ange Postecoglou for their fans. Will that gamble now extend to the players of Celtic Football Club? I don't think so. He's probably going to have a massive transfer budget to play with this summer already. And then on top of that, all the players that leave Spurs will probably add more to it. His shopping market has now become so much bigger and so much better than what it was at Celtic. He will have his eyes and his mind on players all across the world that he knows he can bring into Tottenham Hotspur with the money at his disposal. He's not going to be as lazy as coming in and raiding Celtic. Now, there is maybe one or two names, reliable players that he likes, that he's brought in here that he might think they could do a job down here. But there's going to be players out there that can probably do a similar job and or better with the money he has to spend. I don't think we have to worry about all of our top stars suddenly queuing up to be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium next year. It's lazy journalism. Of course they're going to get linked with their former manager, but I just don't see that happening. So on that note, let's start with the first player who's already been linked with a move to Tottenham Hotspur with Ange Postecoglou in the MSM over the past couple of days. Yesterday morning, this article was published and has gathered some traction, saying that Ange Postecoglou is reportedly ready to return to Celtic in a bid to splash £20 million on Kyogo this summer. It goes on to say that the new Tottenham boss is hoping to be reunited with the man he brought to Parkhead for £4.6 million from Vissel Kobe back in 2021, and he could be willing to stump up the cash to ensure any offer is too good for Celtic to turn down. Who is it being reported by? The Sun. Surprise, surprise. Tottenham are very close to losing Harry Kane, as we all know, and he will need to be replaced in this transfer window. He could be off to Real Madrid, he could be off to Manchester United, and Kyogo is off the back of the best season of his career at Celtic. You know, just unbelievable, really. What he'd done for us last year, it's unreal. You know, he has probably made his case to being dubbed the best since Larsson. Do I think that he's suddenly going to be in a Tottenham Hotspur shirt next season after that? No, I don't. And I think that this is one of these articles that is getting thrown out there to get us all going, to get us all worried that Ange is in for Kyogo. Look, Kyogo's class, and he could be incredibly good at the Premier League at a level such as Tottenham Hotspur. Do I think that's where Ange is going to go to replace Harry Kane? No, I don't think so. I think that the boots that need to be filled from Harry Kane, the best striker in the world maybe, one of them anyway, the boots that need to be filled there aren't, I think, Kyogo's. I don't think that Kyogo's the man to fill them, is what I'm saying. Do I think Tottenham Hotspur fans would be happy with that? Probably not. Do I think that Ange Postecoglou is ready to take that gamble? Probably not. Now, there will be undoubted interest in Kyogo. He's unbelievable. He's getting to an age now where it's probably now or never in terms of his big chance as well. That little bit older than and maybe what some players leaving Celtic would be at a high price. And if he does leave, I'd like to see us bring in at least £20 million for him, because we deserve that and he's good enough to expect that sort of fee. But I think that if you're jumping in to believe this straight away, it'd be very naive, because I think it's just articles getting pumped out there to get us all going. Once again, Tottenham are going to have a lot of money to replace Harry Kane. They need to replace him with the right guy. Do I think that that's going to be Kyogo? No disrespect to the wee man. Love him to bits. I want to see him stay at Celtic for the rest of his career. Do I think that he's going to be the man to replace Harry Kane? No, I don't. And I don't think that Tottenham will think that either. His name being thrown in there already. Ange probably just said he likes the guy, and it's been taken as gospel as to being the next Tottenham striker. Will we see names come in? Now, apparently, £20 million battle, other clubs interested. If there is that money there in the table, we could maybe expect to see Kyogo leave this summer. I'm just very doubtful that that's the point it's going to get to. I just don't think that him being, 28 years of age is going to spark a £20 million transfer battle. I just don't. I don't see it happening. We need to get more from it. The weeks and months will go on, and maybe it'll become more realistic. But yeah, Kyogo to Spurs. The Sun, eh? Another one who's been linked with a potential move to Spurs, is Matt O'Riley, who is apparently drumming up all sorts of interest across Europe as his Celtic future is up for questioning. Matt O'Riley's one that I could realistically see leaving Celtic this summer. I'd love to keep him at Celtic, but I think if the money's right and the opportunity is there for him, it's one that he'll want to explore, and it's one the club should probably let him explore if the money is right. Very young. This is someone who's in a much more believable position for me to be moving to a club like Tottenham Hotspur. Do I still think he'll go there? No. Once again, lazy journalism. Ange isn't going to just go and sign the same players he signed for Celtic. It's an opportunity for him to expand, an opportunity for him to go for bigger and better players. There is other sides apparently interested. Fabrizio Romano tweeted the other day that Celtic midfielder Matt O'Riley is attracting interest from England and Germany, with Brighton being one of the clubs considering him for the summer. Decision time in the next days and weeks, waiting for concrete proposals. I would expect to see Matt O'Riley go if offers from the likes of Brighton come in, and I see that being very believable. It's a player who would fit into that Brighton system perfectly. Of course, they've now lost Alexis McAllister as well to Liverpool, and they could be losing the likes of Moises Caicedo in the middle of the park as well. They need central midfielders. Matt O'Riley's someone who would fit in that team like a glove. I could see that being believable. Obviously, with his Danish nationality as well, being over in Germany, closer to Denmark, easy to get eyes on him for the national side. These are moves that could be realistic for him. These are opportunities that I think that will become more believable over the next few days and weeks as well, when, as Fabrizio says, concrete offers come in. The Tottenham stuff, lazy. Other stuff, very much believable. Could we be prepared to see any of those two players leave? If I was to gauge it right now and I was to give my prediction, I'd say O'Riley, very possibly. Kyogo, not as much. It all adds into the situation we're in right now of players who we expect to see leave as well. The likes of Liel Abada, who we've heard could be off for months. He's one of the names that come to our heads straight away. Rio Hatate, there's been reported interest in him. Another one that, if the money is right, could potentially leave this summer. These are big players, of course. They're players who are very important to what we do right now, but they're players that, especially when you look at Hatate, Matt O'Riley, Liel Abada, those are three names at the ages that we brought them in to expect. We'd expected them to see go at this point, you know, a couple of years in, attracted all that interest, get the money, cash in on it. That was always the plan. Let's not pretend it wasn't. So to see them leave, it's part of the natural order. That's the way Celtic operate, I'm afraid. Don't like it, but that's what it is. These are players I would expect to see go this summer, but just take everything with a pinch of salt. The whole point of me making this video is to say that these stories are coming out thick and fast right now, but I don't think there's an awful lot to them. We just need to wait and see. Ultimately, that's the main thing. Things are going to change massively as soon as we have a manager, and that will dictate a lot of what's going to go on with the future of Celtic and its players. A manager will come in with their own system, with their own ideas, with their own recruitment, and that's going to change the landscape of the whole club. And then we'll probably get more of an idea of who's going to stay and who's going to go. So until there's a manager in place, I would say that everything else around, you know, rumours and transfers and everything else, I think is pretty much put to the side. And then wait till there's a manager in, and then we move from there. And that's where I think we'll get a realistic idea of what's going on. If players leave, I trust the club to replace them. The only negative right now is recruitment's on hold. We're not going to be signing any players until a manager comes in. And that's the right way to go about it, obviously. We don't want to sign players that might be useless to the next manager, might not fit their system. So we're going to have to wait. We're going to be patient. But with the work that we've done over the past few years, I'm very confident that whoever comes in, whatever manager it is, they'll recruit well because they've got the right staff behind them now. It's not the days of Lee Congerton anymore. We've hired people who have clearly done their jobs well. And hopefully a manager will work well alongside that. Recruitment's on hold, but we will replace whoever goes out the door. Right. I'm ending it there. I'm starving. I've made this one late tonight. Apologies, lads. Like and subscribe. I'll see you all next time.